to not be first.
Do we do enough? Well, I never shut up about it.
It must have been about 16, 17. We nicked their gilt rings. Right, the bouncer's gilt ring.
This is no good for me. That's the reality. If you want the honest truth, and I see it every day.
This is Joe Pugh for IFL TV. We're here at the Kensington Boxing Club. Is this the first time we've been here already?
It is, because it's just opened, Joe, today. So therefore, it's probably the first time we've ever been here. New club, same owners as Rathbone, same owners as Camden Boxing Club. Nice little boutique gym, shout out to them as well. I don't have any shares in the company. Should do after this interview. But yeah, nice little place. Shows you actually where boxing's going, I think. You know, these sort of high-end clubs. Boxing is cool. Boxing is sexy. I did that. You did that with your floppy hair. So we should be proud.
I've actually got something in it today. It's called Texturized. It's like a white powder. Yeah. I don't know. We'll.
I don't know about the white powder, mate. But you know, the gum or the paste is the one.
We'll start off with Bam Edwards. Fun week. It didn't really light off as we thought with Sonny, but nonetheless, they got in each other's faces.
I think it's a bit of mind games. I mean, Sonny's kind of befriended him. It's been a bit weird, and like Bam's just flown back to San Antonio. He's so happy to get out of Sonny's company because Sonny's like a million miles an hour full on. I think he's done his head in a little bit, but maybe that was a tactic. But the fight has been announced a while ago, been received so well. Like that is one of the fight fans' fights of the year, and it should be everybody's fight of the year. It's the best versus the best, exactly what we want. Obviously now it sits a week before Haney against Prograis. Could be Eubank, Benn in there. We're absolutely smashing the schedule. I posted about it yesterday. Unrivaled schedule, and December could look like that. You know, look, there will be a show December 2nd, December 9, Haney against Prograis, December 16, Bam against Sonny Edwards, 23 could be Ben Eubank, maybe even throwing AJ in there. We're absolutely on fire, closing out 2023 with a bang. Jeez.
We'll get to the individual fights in a minute, but as a schedule, September through to December, if certain fights work out and it all goes to plan, could this be your biggest run in your career?
Like, not. Right, let's stop the jokes for a minute. Consistency over time, unrivaled. Like, everyone says, oh, is this your best schedule you've done, or is this your best run? We're doing those runs all the time. So, as I said, I give props to PBC and Showtime, or formerly Showtime, if they stay in boxing, I don't know. But consistently, we're always on top. And when you look at that run, whether you like Matchroom, whether you don't like Matchroom, whether you like me, whether you hate me, compare our schedule to Boxer, compare our schedule to Queensbury, compare our schedule to Top Rank, to PBC right now for that end of the year slate. There is absolutely no comparison. So everyone's great for boxing, but acknowledgement where acknowledgement is due.
Jordan Thompson takes on Opetaia. Great fight. How much of a chance do you give Jordan Thompson, first of all?
I love the fight because it's two explosive, big punching cruiserweights, and it's a shot for nothing for a British fighter. Jordan Thompson probably hasn't had the fights yet that would tell you he's the guy, and I'm not saying deservedly, but prepared for a world title. But he's huge. He's got electric speed, and he's probably one of the biggest punchers in the division. So you roll the dice, and when you roll the dice, it's got to come with a jackpot. And the jackpot is the IBF world title, the Ring Magazine world title, and the crown of the #1 cruiserweight in the world. You beat this guy, you're the daddy. So for Jordan Thompson, roll the dice. Do you know what I mean? It's an opportunity of a lifetime on home soil. But Opetaia, you know, one of our team as well, super tough, super skilled, great amateur. And those fighters, like international fighters from Australia, coming over, they see this as a massive chance to raise their profile and become a star. So this is an elite matchup between two great athletes. It's a great card. Chev Clark against Vasil Ducar is going to be a brilliant, brilliant fight. I've seen Ducar with a great fight with Jordan Thompson and Chris Billam-Smith as well. Ellie Scotney defending her world title as well. Look out for Rhiannon Dixon against Standers. Is a great fight. You've got Jimmy Sain sold 500-600 tickets, huge debut coming up. George Liddard, Maisie Rose, Shannon Ryan, Ibrahim Suleiman. It's a really good fight, double world title header, and Brilliant main event.
Is this your first show in London apart from AJ this year?
This year? No, not this year.
Yeah, I think so. I'm trying to think. Apart from 2 AJ fight nights, I think it's your first one in London.
Well, AJ was, the 2 fight nights. Might be a good shout, that, Pew. I think you're wrong, but we'll come back to you.
Well, if it is that...
You win something?
Does the viewer win something? Do you want to give something away?
I think London as a whole has become a very difficult market. You know, when you look at those fights, firstly, it's difficult to get a venue. Wembley doesn't always sell as well as O2, obviously. Copper Box is also a little bit difficult at times, but when you look at the volume of shows in London, sometimes, like, Sheffield next week, 10,000, no problem. Liverpool coming up, Catterall and Ares, currently at nearly 7,000, massive crowds. But London has boxing every single week, and when you throw in an AJ show, it's going to affect other shows around it. So, I'm not sure if you're right, Joe, to be honest with you. I'm trying to think off the top of my head, but you might be right. No, you're not right, are you, Joe? Joe, who was fighting? Katie Taylor and Dillian were the back end of last year.
That was October and November. June 10th, Sonny Edwards. Right, so we got that wrong. June 10th, I think it was.
Might even be more, but good point anyway, Joe. That's completely irrelevant.
Is it frustrating that more Brits don't get behind a fight like this? Because Jordan Thompson, it is a chance of greatness for him.
Yeah, I think that Jordan he doesn't yet have the profile of a, Sonny or a Conor or those kind of guys, but he's a great athlete. He's got great speed, and I think he's a real live dog in this fight. And like I said, brilliant fight.
Have you spoken to Sandy Ryan since Saturday? How's she doing?
Yeah, I spoke to her after the fight. I spoke to her in the hotel the next day. I mean, she's devastated, and she should be the unified world champion right now. I see the Ring magazine and those guys have rated her in at number 1. Cheers, mate. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really soften the blow of a fight that you should have walked away the winner. So, we'll work on that rematch. Both girls are contracted with options to Matchroom, so we'll exercise those and we'll look to make the rematch, maybe even in Derby.
You did mention it at the start, but Haney Prograis is confirmed. The Zone pay-per-view. How big is this going to be?
It's a huge fight. It's one of the best fights of the year. 2 of the most exciting fighters in boxing. Props to Devin Haney when he had to take that top-ranked deal to become undisputed. He said, "Hold my beer, I'll be back," and he came straight back to Matchroom after the deal. So, but also for Regis Prograis, who has a multi-fight deal with Matchroom, I'm so happy to give him this opportunity. Massive payday, massive platform, massive opportunity. He believes he wins this fight. And so does Devin. It's an elite matchup. Like I said, when you look at December the 2nd, December 9, Haney Prograis, December 16, Sonny against Bam, and then from there, maybe even Conor Benn against Chris Eubank, December 23rd. So, jeez.
I know this is really petty, but should Prograis be on the left?
Okay, so I always keep it real, right? And sometimes people say to me, "Why has that fight gone there? And why has this fight gone there?" And I'll always give you my explanation. Devin Haney is a bigger name. He's a bigger draw. He's the undisputed lightweight world champion. He's just beaten Lomachenko on pay-per-view on ESPN. So therefore, for the sales, for the pay-per-view, everything, and the fact that he's undisputed, he goes on the left of the poster. As the champion, Regis Prograis gets everything else. He walks second, right? He gets announced second. He weighs in second, all of those things. So he's respected as a champion, but commercially, the reality is Devin is the bigger name.
Did you see Dana White's comment saying, "Fuck Stephen Espinosa, it's about time that shitty promotions gets off air"? Is that a bit harsh to Showtime?
My guy, Dana White. My guy. No, look, as a boxing fan and as someone who loves the sport, look, I don't even know. I mean, there was a guy, I think his name was Nostradamus. He predicted that Showtime would leave the boxing business a couple of years ago. Now, he's a smart guy. He's ahead of his time. He was a year or so out because they really held on. Look it up, Nostradamus, a.k.a. Eduardinho Hearn. I told you, this business, you can have a great schedule and you can do all this, but if the numbers don't work, the people at the top don't care about the schedule. They look at the bottom line. And there's another broadcaster at the moment where this is happening to exactly the same in the UK. You know, you've gone from making all this money from a sport to losing a fortune of the sport. People love the sport, but the people at the top, the people at the board level, couldn't give a fuck about the sport. Excuse my language. I've got to stop swearing. My Auntie Dawn watches all these interviews. She goes mad. Sorry, Auntie Dawn.
Shout out Auntie Dawn.
Yeah. And that's the case. So these guys are looking at these shows. They're not delivering. And I don't criticise Stephen Espinosa because he's done a great job. He really has. He's put a great schedule together. But if the business isn't working, even he has to say it can't be sustainable. Now listen, this is only rumours. I'm not, you know, my Nostradamus comments was just banter, even though if they do leave boxing, I will play them back because I got so much stick for that recently, the last couple of months. Look at this joker, Eddie Hearn said Showtime wouldn't be in boxing. But, you know, so I know the business like the back of my hand. Dana Whyte obviously doesn't like Stephen Espinosa. We don't really get on, but I still want Showtime to stay in boxing because I don't want a sport where I can just dominate without competition. I want a sport that I can beat the best, and Showtime have had a great year.
Just to confirm, that broadcaster from the UK is Sky that you was talking about?
No, I didn't say that.
Okay, we'll move on then. Did you see Oscar De La Hoya's breakdown of the Canelo fight?
By the way, as I was interviewing you, this button pops undone. The gains on the neck are unbelievable.
Yeah, ain't that coffee then?
No, yeah, might be. Oscar De La Hoya's breakdown about Canelo being stuck in quicksand.
Yeah, flat-footed.
I mean, look, Canelo's style is not a guy who's bouncy on his feet. He's always fought like that. So Oscar's always going to have pops at Canelo. I believe Canelo Alvarez wins this fight. Late, I'm rooting for him, and yeah, I believe he wins the fight. But it's a really good fight.
Conor Benn, Eubank Jr. Has steps been put in place with the ball yet?
Have steps been put in place, or
Yeah.
have steps been taken?
The steps been taken. Well, have you started to communicate?
Do you think you put a step in place? Do you? You take a step.
I put a place my step.
So you're just going to say, I'm just going to put a few steps in place here.
Okay. All right, I might have got my wrong word in there, but you know what I mean, Eddie.
The answer is we've not yet spoken to the board. We are speaking to the legal team to get our application in place to do that fight in the UK. We're speaking to Eubank's team. We're talking to Callum Sowland. We're also in negotiations for 2 other fights for Conor Benn, but the back burner options because Conor Benn's fighting in December. So we want that to be against Eubank, but if it's not, it's going to be a big fight, probably in America. So since the last fight, we've had 3 or 4 opponents or teams that have contacted us looking for the Conor Benn fight, and you know, we'll go from there.
Does it frustrate you that even still, after his first fight back, big names in the sport are still questioning the morality and whether he should be in there or not?
No, because I think they're entitled to their opinion. Not everyone's always going to be happy with you. You've got a mixture of people don't like Conor, people don't like me, an agenda, and then you've got their opinion, which is maybe they're not happy with the way that the whole thing's gone. But Conor can only follow all the steps that he's been asked to take. Suspension's been lifted, he's cleared to box, etc. If you're not happy about that, I'm sorry, but he's done everything that's been asked of him. So I don't see what else he can do other than fight. And obviously he did that last Saturday, and we're looking forward to the next one.
Ultimately, do you think that would affect ticket sales and pay-per-views if Benn Eubank was made?
What would affect it?
People kind of wanting to shift away from Conor Benn and...
Absolutely no. It's an absolute monster. People will tune in. Some will want to see Conor Benn get ironed out by Chris Eubank. Some will want to see Conor Benn iron Chris Eubank out. Someone will remember the rivalry. Someone will know about the hatred in this fight. This is an absolute monster. But let's see if it gets made.
Could you really go Wembley on the 23rd of December?
We'll go wherever you want. We'll go to the moon, we'll do 60,000. Choose.
2 days before Christmas?
We'll do it on Christmas Day. We'll sell it. That's how big this fight is.
Mungia, John Ryder, is it looking likely?
We're talking to Golden Boy. It's a fight we like. January is a potential date for that fight. We'll have to see. But yeah, we would love to make Mungia against Ryder, and then we do a Balanga fight around the same time, and then the winners can all fight the winners early summer.
Any update on Billy Joe Saunders?
No, I've got to call Tom actually today. He's ready to go in December. We'll be looking at opponents with him soon, and are looking forward to seeing him back.
Is that a big fight or a comeback fight first?
Probably a comeback fight, and then I think the Eubank fight, if he beats Conor Benn or Conor Benn beat, I don't know, but you know, big fights out there for Billy Joe, and I just want to see him back in the ring.
Just a couple more. Do you think that the IBF will call the Hrgovic fight?
They need to. They call everything else. Every time I got an IBF world champion and a mandatory's due, I get a letter quicker than I can sneeze. So why haven't they sent this one? I know that there's talks of a Fury Usyk fight. It doesn't matter. Send the letter. Let the negotiations begin.
Do you think it's a case of one rule for one and one rule for others if it halts?
That's boxing.
Yeah. Have you heard anything about Tyson Fury and Usyk?
I've heard there were some talks for December 23rd. I'm sure Saudi are trying to look to make that fight. Obviously, he's got the big test of Francis Ngannou first at the end of October, and then we'll go from there.
Could AJ fight Hrgovic?
Yes, absolutely.
Is he one of the names you're looking at?
Yeah.
Amongst others?
Yeah.
Would you like to divulge who they are?
No.
Okay. Ebony Bridges, is she going to be out either maybe Haney Prograis or Sonny Edwards back?
Yeah, she'll fight in America in her next fight, and she'll fight in December, and we'll announce that shortly.
Are you looking to make that Nina Hughes unification for next year?
Yes, absolutely.
What is going on with Nina? Because we haven't really seen much about her.
Mandatory against Jamie Mitchell, but she may end up fighting Shannon Courtney, which is a fight we like for London. So we've released our schedule. We've still got 2 to 3 more shows to add, and everyone will have a fight date soon.
Last one, I believe Conor McGregor is in town tomorrow?
He is. We'll be out for a couple of Forged Irishes, me and Conor. And don't forget as well, tomorrow we reopen the Lynn. So if you're in Peckham or around the area, get yourself down to the Lynn, come and have a session, come and join the club. Big day for that club, and a history of a fantastic amateur boxing club that gets to reopen.
We were both there, 3 weeks ago? Is it going to be a big transformation?
Yeah, mostly important, safe to open the doors. Get these kids back in the gym, and we can't wait to see it reopen tomorrow night.
Eddie Hearn, thank you very much for being to IFL TV.
You to not be first.
Do we do enough? Well, I never shut up about it.
It must have been about 16, 17. We nicked their guilt rings. Right, the bouncer's guilt rings.
This is no good for me. That's the reality. If you want the honest truth, and I see it every day,